So I think we've mentioned a few times about these roles that the roles that this instrument plays in different cultural contexts where they're found. We've had the spiritual context with the Sufi ritual. We've had the court music context with the Persian people, and then we have the one about the folk music with the Egyptian Ney. So my question is, what role did the Ney play historically? You know, because now we have to find a place for it in music. Is it a court music instrument? Is it a religious instrument? Or is it a folk tradition instrument? Let's hear what you think about this, Emmanuel.
Yeah, so I think the name has played all of that, all of the above roles in tradition. People have used it both for, that's the iconic sound of Arabia in my mind, you know. Whenever I hear the name, the first thing that comes to mind is the Arabic world and the Persian world. And in all of history, it's been used both for entertainment, for even before Sufism came along, and then for spiritualism to connect to transcend physical realm and connect with our ancestors or connect with the spirit world. So I think it's played all of the above roles, both for entertainment, as a cultural heritage, as an instrument of the court. Because I mean, who best to enjoy the calming effects of music than the ruling the ruling elite? Because they enjoyed most of all the benefits of life and all the finer things of life, and understood the power of music as a way of creating that relaxing atmosphere. And you know, back in the days, where even when music was seen as things that, yeah, you know, a thing of the flesh, for which most religions um, kicked against. Some of these elites explained their love and use of music as a way of, in spiritual terms, so as not to go against their own preachings of listening to music being as a thing of enjoyment, which was a thing of flesh. Even the Bible spoke against, you know, having to do too much of things of the flesh. And so I think the Ney has played this role, all three roles in its existence, and has continued to do that even till date.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think the Ney has played all sides. Both in Sufi, in the Ottoman Empire, and then in Egypt. In Egypt. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for that insight and explanation into the current assignment of role for the Nai flute. So another question that I have is, at the beginning of the conversation, we mentioned, even, during the conversation, we've mentioned, this different types of the ney. We've had the Turkish ney, the Egyptian ney, the Arabic ney, and the Persian ney. So what are, let's say, the noticeable differences between these instruments? Because I believe that the same instrument, but because they are found in different regions, there's possibility of variance or differences. What are the notable differences between these different variants of the ney flute? Let's hear what you think, Ikechukwu.
So I was able, based on differences, I got some difference between the Turkish name and the Persian name. I didn't really I didn't have enough time to get on the Egyptian nails. So I'll just talk about those two. So particularly for the Turkish nail, it says it has a mouthpiece, which is called the baspare. The S has an kind of like an indentation at the bottom, so and I pronounced it wrong. So it's called the baspare, which is traditionally made for horn, wood, or any modern materials, which could be metal or even plastic. While the Persian nail has no separate mouthpiece, it's just that has a small metal or plastic ring that is called a sari, and it's even sometimes used for protection. But the blowing itself is against the rim. I mean, that is for the mouthpiece itself or the flute, but the blowing technique is also different too. For the Persian nail, the the baspari, like that I mentioned earlier, is pressed against the nearly closed lips, and then the airstream is directed across the rim of the mouthpiece. It's actually subtle, and it's actually, from what I read, it's called like an oblique blowing style. While for the Persian nail, the rim of the instrument is placed between the two upper front teeth, and the airstream is directed with the tongue. So you can see the difference between the two. The tongue is used for direction, while for the Turkish nail, is the air is directed across the rim of the mouthpiece. And when it comes to number of holes, the Persian nail has 7 holes in total, 6 on the front, while 1 thumb hole at the back. But the Persian nail has 6 holes in total, 5 on the front and 1 thumbnail. When it comes to sound and tone, there's a bit of difference too. The Turkish nail is smooth. It has a smooth flowing and controlled, and has a distinct sound influenced by the baspare, by the mouthpiece. But for the Persian nail, um, it's distinctively louder, much more powerful, and it has kind of like a hissing tone that's when you blow it, and this is like I mentioned, is associated with the Persian classical music, the radif, as it's called. This is what I was able to. When it for difficulty of playing, the Turkish nail is actually easier for beginners to learn, while the Persian nail is actually much considered more difficult to master due to its demanding interdental technique. Yeah, so these are just some of the differences I noticed between these two names. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ikechukwu, for that. Aside this difference in physical attributes of this instrument because of the regions where they are found, it's also important to mention the difference in playing technique. Ikechukwu mentioned the interdental technique of the Persian nail, which is very hard, I must say, because I actually saw videos of Naizens, like I mentioned earlier. Naizen is someone that plays the nai, playing this, just showing techniques of playing this different instruments. But then the guy was struggling with the Persian flute because of how it's being played. So I think it's an important factor to note, and it's also important to mention that the physical attributes of this instruments, although they're found in 2 different regions, actually they have similar physical attributes. The reed body, and then you have the finger holes and the thumb holes, which might vary in number. And then in more modern mix, you have someone like a metal or plastic tubing. Instead of having just hollowed out reed, you have plastics, of the same size that can fit into the tube to make somewhat like a cylinder. I don't know how it helps because initially it was just reed that was being used to make the instrument, but modern modifications come in, and then you see more modern applications in the production of this instrument. So thank you, Ikechukwu, again for mentioning these notable differences and also leaning towards this unnoticeable ones. I would call it, this playing techniques that you mentioned.